What? Oh, snap.
You should warn me next time.
Oh, damn it, dude.
All right. I can't hear anything. I don't know. I am surrounded by
there they are right there.
So much cable.
Cables.
Okay, check.
What's going on, y'all? It's nice to see everybody in the chat. Appreciate that. What's going on, everybody? Watching any NBA playoffs? Who are you going for? Did you watch LeBron fake get hit by the elbow last night? That was pretty funny looking. They show the replay. There's like 6 inches of space between his chin and the elbow, but somehow he was rubbing his chin going, motherfucker, talking shit to some guy. It was good. It was WWE NBA style.
Dang. You know, there is some quality to these guitars. And to those fat ass pickups, man.
Yeah. What's the brand on it? What is it?
This is I think the original was called the Scroat Sucker.
Oh. Nice.
Because the guy who invented it had another hobby. But this model, this is actually the Bag Tugger. The Bag Tugger 3.
Really?
Yeah. 5,000.
So it's like it's kind of like the lineage, like a family lineage, like it's got a theme.
Indeed.
I can see a theme there.
Indeed. And the theme is ball sacks.
Right.
Human ball sacks, mostly.
Okay, sure.
It doesn't really go after the animal kingdom much with these guitars.
Really? Oh, I wonder why. That's interesting. When you should Wikipedia that.
God, why? It sounds so out of tune. That guy. Who are you? You are bad. There it is. That. All right.
Well, that one there's a little honoring too. Wow, we got like a lot of stuff going on in here.
So current events.
Whoa, that just turned up.
Sorry. No, I got this, man.
Oh, okay, I got it. I see what's happening there. I get it.
Nobody wants to listen to somebody tune a fucking guitar. I should have tuned this before I got in here.
I know.
Motherfucking fuck yeah! All right, whatever. So we're the all-knowing West Goats. We know everything. We're at the underground music station in the beautiful Columbia River Gorge in the stinking ass Hood River.
It does kind of stink down here sometimes, doesn't it? We're right down here by the sewer plant and the Full Sail dump site. Full Sail, if you're unaware of this feature of Full Sail beer, they do like these weird late night and weekend dumps with this big like shit converter pump thing they got outside up here on the street. I'll show you when we get up on the street.
You're serious?
Well, I watch it happen. You know, I've been here for a few years now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and then it like one time like there's this fucking concrete pipe that comes out across by the tracks over there, and like it broke and it was really getting funky, but like it helped me kind of understand how the system works down here when I worked at the railroad. You know, 'cause the railroad, you know, you just pop the manhole off and they just dump the shit straight down into the gully. It's just down there, it's not a pipe, it's just like a trench, concrete.
So what do you suspect they are dumping?
So it's just like the afterbirth of a beer, you know, like whatever's the leftover, you know, like or fuck ups or whatever, like they're garbage, liquid garbage kind of.
Okay, so I'm familiar with the process, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the places, don't they like give it away as like compost and shit like that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it other than there's this pump across the street, and when it starts to pump, it starts to reek.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like it's like dumping. It's like it's full now, and like there's some kind of, but then there's even more to it, really, because Tofurkey is just one more building up, and they have the same type of system.
And that's just straight funkadelic.
Yeah, and you mix them together with the sewer, possibly just upwind there too. Maybe a little driftage. Okay,
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's mostly sewer.
The comp from over there?
Yeah, bro, it's exactly what it is. That is exactly what that smell is.
Let me explain though the sewer from the city of Hood River that's on its way there, and what it's actually just in really old concrete and just these old pipes that have already broke apart. So I'd imagine that like it's not even the shit getting to the sewer plant. It's like there's air coming from the shit that's headed to the sewer plant. That's why it smells exactly the same. See, that's why you're sure that it's the sewer plant. And I agree with you. You're right, but just a little, like you see, you're saying that smell, Roman, is the same smell I've smelled working down there.
Okay, yes,
and you're right.
Okay, well,
but it's pre-shit plant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
So when I worked there, I got there early, right, really early. So I'd have to get to the restaurant, dude, at like 5, bro, like 4,
sure,
sometimes. That's when there's no wind. And that's when it's a fucking, after a busy weekend in the gorge. You know what I mean? It's a Sunday morning. You guys always joke about
pizza,
that.
lots of IPAs and pizza.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that smell is 100% straight up shit funk coming from the fucking sewage treatment plant, and the wind is just straight wafting in my general direction.
There's no doubt that everything downwind, which is basically the city of Hood River, gets some funk from there. But like I said, here's my other reasoning. Because every once in a while, you smell shit, but you taste bacon. And so that's how you know it's got Tofurkey mixed, because they're making some fake bacon.
Okay, I'm familiar with the
next day they're making like some kind of, I don't know, sour cream and onion ham or something. I don't know. And so like you can smell like, hey, onions and shit. So there's like a duality there, like tear gas. You smell multiple things.
Okay, so I'm familiar with the smells from Topher Town, and brewing, obviously.
Sure.
And they are strange, but that's fucking shit, bro. That smell.
I'm saying is it's never one of the things. Dude, it's something different.
Speaking of shit,
a lot. But Sundays, when you come here on Sundays, weirdly, it's worse. Try it. Because they're dumping on weekends when there's nobody around. There's nobody's going to come. The inspector's not coming.
Oh, you think these guys are?
Yeah.
That's not a shit smell. Shit is so distinct. And you know what's interesting about this? This is This is a great conversation
bacteria. Right? It's not even shit.
No.
It's the smell of like a treatment of waste.
The thing was shit. The thing.
Man, you should have been here when Tim actually went over there and took pictures of toilet paper dumping in next to the freeway. Like, I'm serious. We installed the shitter here, and we installed the shit pipe plant. I mean, dude, we're very familiar with downtown Hood River shit.
That's crazy.
Plus, I worked at the railroad, man, for years, and we used to pull the pipe out and open the valve on the train and dump the shit straight into a ditch that was a little bit lower than the river level. So I'm telling you, man, it's just shit. Then it goes into the river. It's not even flowing towards that street. Where's it going to go? Like up the hill and around,
And it almost seems like the restaurant I was working at was somehow responsible too, because they sold a lot of pizza. Where do you think that ends up?
That's what I mean. They're all, unless you're like, if you're not making any money off of those pizzas, then you just get the smell. That's your part. You're playing your part.
Man, what an epic fail Hood River, downtown Hood River really is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's groupthink 101.
With all that. That's just
beautiful.
That's great.
I wish that we had a billionaire around here that just pushed their weight around and built cool shit. You know, because really what you need is an individual creative person who has a lot of money and wants to dump money into something cool. But when you start getting these organizations where like people who like got nothing better to do than go on an organization, they always make the wrong choices. You know? No matter what. No matter what, they're bound to, because all groups, when they group makes a decision, it's always the wrong one.
You know what this town needs? It needs the fucking jar of revenge. The jar of revenge needs to make a comeback.
What is that? What's the jar of revenge? Please explain that to us. They're young Batlock.
Wait, let me turn on some sound effects. Does this work? What the fuck, man?
No, it doesn't, man.
Check. Does that work? There it is.
Yeah, man.
Is that on?
I don't know, man.
Wait. There it is. No, it just sounds the same. Okay.
Yeah, that's not...
All right, jar of revenge works like this. Anybody who's listening to this already knows the story. You're going to get to hear it for the 500th time.
I love that.
Now, just to stay on point, because I have a tendency to just fly off subject, we are talking about... I'm bringing up the jar of revenge to say that it could challenge Hood River. It could challenge the sewage treatment plant.
Okay.
Meaning you might just be able to drop this jar like a Jackson Park or something.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, might be a full biohazard. Okay, here's how it started. I got kicked out of a bar.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember this one.
Where does jar of revenge start? Well, I got kicked out of a bar.
Right.
Basically, it was a jar that had everything in it, you know? And my buddy and me made it to get revenge on the bar, but then we decided this thing was a biohazard and that nobody deserved it.
Sure.
The highlights of the story that are great is I lived in an apartment in Queen Anne. We put this thing in an Ovaltine jar.
Oh.
Yeah, we were drinking Ovaltine. You ever drink that shit?
No, I saw the wealthier kids had Ovaltine when I was younger. And we just had...
That's why we drank it, because we thought we were ballers. And we really did drink that shit. So I wake up in the morning, because the jar is up in my windowsill. From that windowsill, just to give you some perspective,
right,
you can see a little bit of water in the bay. You can see the Space Needle. Oh. You know, you can actually see, I think, just the top of Key Arena.
Sure.
It's just that, you know, right at the top of Queen Anne. You know what I mean? There's a view.
It's the hill there, yeah.
Yeah, there's a nice view, and then there's an Ovaltine jar.
Sure.
And I look at the jar, and there's something different about it.
Oh,
and there's a fucking turd floating in it.
Oh. Well, that's...
So my homie, while I was asleep, dropped a turd in that thing, man.
Yeah, that sounds... I mean, homie, you say homie, some people say homie, some people say homie.
Ironically, this is the same guy who works right on the other side of this wall for the railroad.
Sure.
Yeah, same dude.
Mm-hmm.
He helped me conceive this monster. So these are the highlights. We take it out into the hall, because I'm like, dude, somebody's like, you guys got to get this the fuck out of the house.
Right.
We bring it out into the hall, and we crack the lid, and dude, gas like shoots out. And it fills the hall with this fucking smell, bro. And my buddy just pukes right into the jar.
Okay, so since you told that story, since I heard you told me that story last time, check this out.
Wait, did I say it on the podcast, though?
I don't remember.
I don't think we did.
Episode 17, maybe.
No, I really don't think we did.
No, but here, check this out.
Okay.
So, I actually heard somebody, and I don't remember where, but I heard somebody telling a story about this, right? I think it was like a podcast or something I was listening to, but they were talking about how like inhaling that gas is like a crazy hallucinogenic, like crazy style, and it's got a name. Like there's a name for that. But I'm like,
you can trip balls off of huffing poop gas
and like piss and poop and like like in a jar over time. They put a balloon on it. And it fucking swells up all crazy with that gas.
Yeah.
And then they take it off and they fucking huff it, dude. And it's like called something. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh, God. But like, I guess it's a fucking thing, dude.
Like prisoners do it and shit.
I would imagine that's probably one of the more common places to maybe truckers. I mean, they're in the cab so long, they're bored. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Truckers have they have a lot at their disposal. And they make a good living too. So
and the stuff truckers like to use for work, or they can
grip, bro.
That reminds me of a European band I saw once. So. Now, that does look like a deformity, kind of like you. It's like somebody that's invited to the Howard Stern show. You know what I mean? Show us your tricks there, man.
Oh my goodness, that is funky. Ooh, there.
So, hey everybody in the chat, nice to see you guys. You guys have anything you want to chat about? I mean, if you need some serious advice about life, then you can always ask. Batlock. He's really good about like anything super serious. He's your guy.
Dude, I have the answers to fucking everything. If there's anything in this world that's puzzling you, I've got the fucking answers to all your problems.
Oh, shit.
Check out this new chord.
I mean, let's see. It might be flat-ish in that one area. What area is that? The middle? What was I going to say? Did you watch any of the opening round PGA Championship today?
No. Was it Koepka?
Yeah, he
shot 3 down.
Yeah, he was in second when I turned it on.
Second with 3 down.
Yeah, I think so.
If you want to turn this stream into a golf cast,
no, I thought I'll throw that out there. I was wondering if you plan on watching any this weekend, at least the final day. I imagine a little bit.
I don't know. It's not about watching. Like I always watch highlights and shit.
Sure.
It's about if I feel like hitting the couch up.
Yeah, no, I think it's more like, I get it all I get everything on my phone or my iPad or like kind of almost anything I'm doing. It's like real easy to get it.
I get golf on my dick phone too.
And so, yeah. And
it's a phone on my dick.
That doesn't sound comfortable. I mean, eventually
it was a bad decision. I admit it.
I might get one.
I'm
waiting for Neuralink personally. I mean, people are scared of that, but I want to be I want to be in the beta. I think, like, I just don't see how that wouldn't be good for you. What do you think there?
I like this. This person's. See,
it's P Timbo.
Oh, it's Tim's.
Yeah. What's it say though?
No, it's actually. Yeah, and there's actually an interest. No, I know why. I know why.
Why?
So that's how I used to feel. I was like, I don't get this. How can you fucking watch this? And especially because it's like really hard to even cover golf. To follow the ball.
I mean, honestly, I like the whole thing. I like listening to the guys and everything. It's fun.
Right. So I was gonna say, until you play it. As soon as you go out and play a round of golf, Tim, is that Tim? Yeah. So Tim, if you played even one round, 18 holes of golf, you would watch it differently. You'd watch dudes hitting golf shots like, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's wild to watch people do shit that you just do that. Yeah, you watching people do shit that you just tried to do.
Exactly.
That's definitely the difference. But I think even golf though, like I'm telling you, like they have the most expensive cameras. They have the most expensive courses and they put the most money and time into the performance, the apps that you can get, like the Masters app. It's you can get every single shot from every single player, and you can break them down. And they show the flight of the ball. They show like where
they have tracers now on all of them. Yeah,
they can show if you look on like the third day, you can see all the days and the balls overlapping each other. Right, and it's like a beautiful shot. It's free, cool. And it's all free because their sponsors Rolex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude,
I'm not even fucking around.
I know.
But they don't.
Mine too.
They don't whore it out. Like, in a way, it's free. It's a free app. You can watch everything, all the holes. And so, to me, there's like this level where golf is like they're too dignified to even charge you for that shit. They don't even care. They're like, we have money.
Yeah,
just watch it. We just want people to watch it because they just want more viewers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they just don't care. They're not. In my mind, that's actually where good entertainment always has been. It's not behind any paywall. People just need to be able to never like golf at all. Flip it on. The birds are going.
So yeah.
You know, and some little kid can watch it, and that's the person that might like golf in the future.
I think
so you know, to me, that's an app.
I think what I meant to you by what I said, Roman, was that it's hard to cover it just because it's a tiny white ball. It's hard to fucking cover it when you're playing it.
Well, they rely on the people.
Yeah,
you know, when they didn't have. Well, I noticed when they didn't have people at the golf course, people lost balls.
Yes,
in the pros.
Yes,
like they couldn't fucking find them in the fucking rough. Like because there wasn't anybody there.
Right.
So they count on that nowadays. Big time.
Sure. And yeah.
I mean, you know, because that's how hard it is. So you're 100% right.
Right. You know? It is so fucking hard to play golf. It's so fucking hard. And the other thing too, the white golf ball, covering it with a camera is kind of what I meant.
Right.
And like making it entertaining, making it something that's fun to watch. I guess
it's similar to hockey on TV, where they ended up with the tracer. They put a tracer on the hockey puck because it's so fast that people can't watch it. You know, and like you can't. It's hard. Another thing that's hard to watch is outdoor motocross races, and you know, and they're awesome. Like I've been to Washougal. I know Tim's into that, so I know he could follow that. But when you go to nationals, right? And you go there's some spots you can stand that you can like basically you can see a lot of the track, or you can see specific parts of the track if you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they never cover it better. Like it's not the same. Like when you go to a Blazer game, the TV is like this thing where the guy's going back and forth, right? There's a set. When you go to the game, right, wherever you're sitting is what you get.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's this other whole relationship with going to a live place where you're like active and you can move in those motocross things. You can move around. You're like, let's go over here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In the next lap, let's stand here and watch everybody do this.
Right. In golf, you can
do that.
In golf, you have to follow the card. Right. That's the only way to actually spectate golf and truly get the whole fucking.
Pick like a guy and then follow.
Pick a card and follow that card because. Like I was,
and that's not what normally people. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what normally means, but I mean, a lot of people do normally chill by some holes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you chill by certain golf holes. So, like in disc golf, because it's not as crowded,
right?
You can go to some pretty major tournaments, and if you know all the etiquette, you can follow a card. Right. You can follow a chase card or something like that. I think in the PDGA, you can follow the final card.
Sure.
Isn't that right? In every major?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't they because the final card, when they're done, there's no one behind them.
Right.
I believe the course opens up.
You can just walk behind them.
Yeah, like and you can just end up following. I believe that's how it works.
And I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, that's the fun part is to watch every shot.
What I'm saying, you want to watch your guy.
Yeah, you want to watch the struggle.
And then you want to watch the winner.
Sure.
You know, like if I bought a ticket, that's what I would hope to watch.
Right.
You know, like let's assume, like who would you go watch? Like if we went to the Masters next year, who would you propose we follow?
If I had really had a choice, because see, that's the thing about golf that's so cool. It's not about who wins; it's about style.
Well, we could follow the leader card the last day or something. But I mean, you know, like if we were
that's what I'm going to say. That's what I was going to say.
When it's open, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
just like disc golf. It's really not about who wins. It's about like whose style you like to watch. I'd like to follow Phil Mickelson.
Oh, okay. I'd like to watch.
Do you know what I mean? Like win or lose, like I think it'd be fun to just hang out with that dude for 18 holes and see.
He'd be interesting.
Yeah, he's funny and like I don't know. He gets over bad shots really quick. Like I just like his style.
I'd pick Dustin Johnson. Or
dude, he's like some crusher.
He's just impressive.
He's an impressive
crusher. Golfer. I always think every tournament I watch, like he could win it. It doesn't really matter where the course is, you know. He took like a downturn, then he won the green jacket this year. Yeah, he can dig it. That's what I mean. That's kind of like what I felt like about Tiger.
Everybody plays golf. I felt
Tiger. He was so dominant. Like any given day, he's not going to even make the cut, or you know, he might win the tournament. You just don't, because they're crushers, and you just never know.
Yeah.
But he just comes to my mind first. But I think Mickelson's a fun one. I think he talks. he like says funny shit.
Yeah.
And, like, he's a fucking,
And
I think that makes it fun.
He's a lefty, so you get to see cuts and weird, weird draws and shit you're not used to seeing.
But obviously, I would have watched Tiger when he was playing because he was a cusser, and I think it's funny.
Yeah, he was committed.
He's a shit talking,
emotionally
crazy
motherfucker,
cocksucking motherfucker. I'm gonna like running, they're turning the mics off every time.
Oh, I love it, dude. There's one shot. I love you bring that up. There's this one shot I always love, and it's a tee shot of him, man. I think it's 2004, and he hits a shot, and he's like, "Oh, look at that! That's a nice one." Wait, what the fuck is that in the rough? And he says it all loud with all these.
What this naughty? And he's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! Is that fucking?"
It's all quick though. He's like, "Oh, no, that's what he says." He says, "Oh, that felt good." What the fuck is that in the rough? Like, yeah, he's just so like he goes from happy to super pissed off in like 2 seconds. And
he's a Stanford graduate. That fucking cocksucker. God damn it.
He's a weird dude.
Oh my god, yeah, he's like poor guy. Have you had a chance to watch that documentary on HBO?
I want to so bad.
Yeah. I mean, it really
are kind of mean.
It really did. It showed me some shit about him though. That like, damn, like sometimes these people have lives that like it's really like you really gotta. It's almost like you have to be pointed out to remember that some people have lives that are like kind of so odd that you can't imagine that they would be like everybody else.
Sure.
Like it's almost impossible. Michael Jackson
is the first thing that comes to mind too. And
how could you possibly make it through
not just a wild life, but then on top of that, an incredible talent.
Yeah, all of it. Legend, childhood,
both of them,
early.
Tiger Woods and
very few
Michael
people
Jackson
are actually fucked with as a child like that.
Right.
And it actually works.
Yes.
Like it's fucking rare, man. Like the Ball family, are you familiar with the Ball? Like the Lonzo Ball, like it's
an unfortunate name.
So the thing is they're in the NBA. There's two brothers out of three. Their dad was a strong name. Their dad was in the NBA, and their dad is a goddamn psycho. I mean, I'm not shitting you. He's like one of those kind of dads that like you hope that the kids can fucking, you know what I mean? You hope they can emotionally handle it. Right, but it ended up kind of working for him because he ended up with two of them, and they're fucking both really good NBA players.
What team?
I'm not even sure who they play for. One plays for the Hornets, and one plays for the Pelicans. Maybe can't remember. But the point is,
funny when you have a team name that's not a threatening animal, like the Dolphins.
Well, they kind of started going with that now. Like, I think it's just from
the Falcons. We're the Pelicans.
When they start a brand new team, the New Orleans Pelicans, they're like New Orleans, right? So they used to have a team, and they called it the Jazz, and then the Jazz moved to Utah, and they didn't change their name. And there's no Jazz in Utah, And so it was stupid, but just like the Lakers come from Minnesota, and Minnesota is the land of the lakes, and they ended up with the Lakers, and the Lakers moved to LA, and they should have just changed it. There you go, LeVar Ball. Oh, he didn't play in the NBA? I thought he did. But didn't he play he did play Division I ball or something, right? Thanks, John. Didn't the ball dude? Didn't he play somewhere though? I thought he played something.
Did somebody just check you on something?
No. Oh yeah, that's one of my coworkers.
NBA.
John knows what he's talking about. Right. He knows more about that.
I just realized after I said that was an unfortunate last name that I realized there was a famous chick called fucking
Lucille Ball.
Lucky Ball. Yeah, Lucille Ball. I was trying to come up with something worse, but
sorry. But no, yeah, right. No, you made me think of it then, right? When you said that, I was like, oh yeah, huh? That's right. But still, the idea of it is that there's another guy that got drafted by the Raiders named Todd Marinovich, and his dad kind of ruined him, kind of turned him into his crazy person.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, man. I was trying to find some guitar tone, and well, there is none. Anyway, yeah, man, fucking.
Isn't that the PV? Isn't that a PV? Isn't that joke you put online today that said
fuck tone?
Like, fuck tone.
Yeah, dude, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, if you want no tone, just loud, buy PV.
Yeah, they're very functional. When I was in a punk band, I just had like two bandits stacked on top of each other. Do you remember when I told you about a drummer I was with who I said who was just so professional to the point where he's like, Nick, you need to get some real fucking gear. You need a real guitar. He's like, that was that dude, and that's what I was playing through as a PV at the time. He's like looking at my amp like, dude, no, you can't do this. No, dude, fuck tone. Fuck.
No, I mean, I did have a decent bass amp that was a PV, but it's a bass amp. Just looking for some loud bass.
Yeah, it's just,
I mean, I wasn't
lots.
looking for much at the time.
Yeah.
That's funny. John said he played tight end or forward at D2 college or city something or other. Yeah, he's looking like a. But what he is he's a big dude and he's a psycho.
Oh,
and he literally tried to push his kids to go to prison, and somehow they made the NBA. And if you try that as a parent, you're probably not. It's not probably going to work out for you.
Wow.
Because most kids don't like it when they're forced to do shit.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my mom made me smoke crack, but I turned out okay. I have a great tolerance for crack now, too. I can smoke a lot more of it now than I could when I was a kid.
All the cracks, actually. All of the kinds of crack, right?
I smoke so much crack. Actually, I wanted to go back to golf. So today I shot 46.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
It's nice being in the 40s. I'm like, I was like bummed out about it because I shot better than that the other day. I'm like, Nick, what the fuck? You're never going to shoot that. That's like the lowest score you've ever shot. You're never going to hit that one again.
Oh, no, you will. But
right, but it might be a while.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is there becomes, the lower your score in golf is, the less times that you're going to have flexibility. Because there's only up to a point so much flexibility, right? So if you figured out, like, if you birdied every hole, what's that score? You see what I mean? Like, you ain't going below that. So it's not like you need to make that your zero. Because there's no way to get below a certain score.
That's a good point. Like,
I mean?
You mean like have a threshold that I think's good for me?
That's it, dude. That's a crazy
really
idea to try to think, because you can't go to zero.
Well,
right?
no,
I mean,
no.
like,
You actually, you also made a really, you made a really good point right there. Because I also, when I first learned about golf, like I learned about everything, about the history of it, about course design, about PGA, about all that shit, and the idea of scratch golf, the idea of hitting even, is supposed to be the best in the world.
Right.
Yeah, you know that. So like par, ideally,
par
it doesn't work. Par means Tiger Woods is going to shoot par at your course. If the PGA came in and rated your course scratch, that means the best rated golfer in the world could show up today and would only hit par.
Right.
So yeah, now that you mention it, that's a good idea to stop thinking that par is my goal.
So you could
that's really fucking
it's
hard.
really good. And
it's so hard.
You can look at like the city league, like when they, or the, like the league, maybe like the Indian Creek men's league or something. And you can look at the scores and you can say, look, this guy won the tournament and that was his score.
Totally.
So it's like when you see bowling, for instance, right? Like the champions, like 220, 290. I mean, like it's far from 300.
Right.
Because it's a consistent amount that's really hard to get. If you try to bowl 200 every day, damn, dude.
I wonder what league.
You're not fucking around.
I wonder what league players
shoot it really is. But it's like that's what, and then like you said, there's that ratio somehow creates like handicaps and things that those types of things. But you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I'm saying is that's, and so what you do is you take that low number, in golf, which is what you want, high number, but it's low, right? And then you take an unreasonable number that you don't want to shoot. Even like on a bad day, I really don't want to go above this. And that's your complete 100% of your ability of flexibility.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I like it a lot.
So that's 0. This is 100%. And you're really looking to float in that range, right? And then you can look at it differently because like one stroke then is a huge gap.
Huge. Yeah, dude.
In that amount of 20 strokes or whatever. You know what I mean?
You just fucking nailed it again, too. And that's the part of getting better at golf is being able to hit a bad shot and then get back in the game.
Yeah.
Because if you hit a bad shot and it's an automatic snowman,
right,
you're fucked.
Well,
because if one stroke's a doozy, imagine 4.
What you're gonna do is if you get
4, it's like it's over.
What I'm saying is well, it is, but it's not, because then you can also isolate it this way: is you can say, this time I hit a 50 because I had this horrible hole. But that's only, then you say, how many more in that hole did I really? That was 4 more than I should have got. And so you can take that 4 right off the top there and say, okay, that actually boiled down to this one hole.
And I always do that, but that's the idea.
These 4 strokes, right? And
it's not the score. At that point, you just want to feel like
getting better. Like, I'm talking about getting better. You know, and like thinking about it, being positive about your game.
Right. You want to feel like you got away. So like that's what I wanted to tell you. Like I played that round with that couple like a week or 2 ago, and I shot 47 with them. Right.
Right.
And the highlight of that round for me was I hit 3 balls off the tee with those guys. I hit lost ball.
Oh, okay.
And didn't take any worse than a bogey on those holes.
Right.
Like I'm on the green putting for par after a lost ball off the tee. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
same concept.
Last year, that would have been a snowman, dude.
Yeah,
I would have tried to go hero and go out of bounds again or something. Like, fuck, dude, that was just a train wreck.
Well, and when imagine you're competing over a 4-day tournament or something like that, right? And like where it really does matter that you don't freak out, because a 7 is a big deal instead of an 8. It's like the difference between 25th place and 26th place.
It's
and that's
like
maybe like $100,000.
$100,000, yeah, dude.
And so it's actually not. Don't freak out. Just make the next one.
So you mentioned that. So what happened today is I was kind of just having a rough go of it altogether. I mean, I was playing okay. 47 is a pretty goddamn good score.
Yeah.
But for me, I felt like I wasn't getting what I wanted during the round, so I was kind of looking at it like I just want to get out of here in one piece, you know, like
just finish this off.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I got on the hole 9, feeling confident. So I put a $5 Pro V1 on the tee and smacked that bitch OB out into a house.
No, geez.
I haven't hit one that bad in like 3 weeks. So yeah, dude. I mean, I had to hit 3 off the tee. You know what I mean? And just suck it up and fucking get down there, get on the green and take care of business. And I did it. And I only, what did I do? So I hit 3 and green side 4 and I took a 6.
Sure.
So I took a double bogey, but I was OB off the tee.
Right. But there's your strokes. There's your 45 right there.
Yeah.
Instead of a 47, right? I mean, and that's what's fun about it.
Yeah,
that's what we like about it. If it was too easy, you wouldn't want to do it.
$5
some of those
balls.
Some games for some people, it's a mocha. People chug.
No, that's what it's saying. I lost $25 worth of golf balls today.
Oh yeah,
sure. None of them were mine. They were all found balls, but I just know how much golf balls cost. I had like some of those soft Callaways. Sure. Some of the Bridgestones, a couple Pro V1s. I lost all of them. I had such a bad go today. It was fucked up. Man.
Yeah, I have no idea how much a golf ball costs. I find them, I hit them. Meh.
They're all the same.
I like the ones that have the Nike swoosh, and that's it. That's probably the cheapest one. I'm probably wearing Nikes usually, so
I just hit whatever I find these days. I like to think, I like this golf ball or that one, but really at the end of the day, I don't think it changes anything for me.
Yeah. No, I was looking
unless you put them in your butt.
That then it does matter. You should definitely use a nice golf ball.
Putting the golf ball in your ass.
Our conversation shifted dramatically. So, update Shack Blast.
The putter butter. The poopy putter butter.
Man, that's
we talk sports.
That's a tough sound.
And we actually got more viewers talking sports. Is that what that? I mean, because I always figure we'll bore the shit out of people if I start talking about sports.
Well, first off, is whatever that thing says up there. I don't know how much I believe about that. I really don't understand it.
15,000 viewers. You don't think we're at 15,000?
I don't know. I just don't know. It's got to be more.
Well, I just meant I've seen people engage with this stream when we're doing something I think is entertaining, and then they just bail. And then I start talking about really trivial, boring shit like sports, and they're like, "Oh yeah, really? That's cool." Because I could talk your balls off. You want to talk about golf?
See, the important part of this show is that we don't really know what we're gonna say before we say it, nor do we know who wants to talk about anything. And so to me, that's our strength. You know, our strength is in the fact that we could come up with a new idea because we don't know what the idea is. So it might be new. That's how else, like I always tell everybody, if you want to know what the future is, you have to imagine something that you couldn't imagine could be the future, because that's always what the future is. And so, like, if I don't know what I'm doing, then I'm much happier because it might be new. And that's better than what I already thought of.
And then you also, you're right. And then when you do something pre-planned, you're always like, I don't know if I did it well or not.
I don't even like to rehearse it.
That means there never really is success, because you're always overcritical of your own performance anyway. You're like, I prepared for this for 2 months. Was it good? I don't know. Or you're like, I didn't prepare for this at all. Was it good? I don't know.
Well, it's like our songs, we played our songs for
How the fuck am I supposed to know what's good or not?
A couple of our tunes we played for a couple straight. We played them every week for a couple years. And I probably played them 700 times. And I bet you I played them like 400 different ways. Most of them, I don't know what I'm going to play. If you come to a West Goat show, it depends on who you are is how I'm going to play it. Like what you're doing. Are you dancing? Do you got a buzz? Like, is it a party? Is everybody standing there looking at me like they don't know what the fuck's going on in the world? And they just ate 9 Quaaludes and a bong yet? Like, I don't know what the fuck is everybody looking at? Like, dance or don't dance, leave, I don't know, do a head spin.
I love Quaaludes, man. I used to feed Quaaludes to my hamster, and then I would watch it just freak out and die, man.
What happened to your hamster the other day when you were going to give him a haircut, weren't you?
No, I said I was going to wax the hamster.
Oh, that's right.
I don't even know what it means.
Haircut, waxing.
You know what that is? It's funny as I get older, and I'm like, okay, Nick, what the fuck did you mean? What is going on up here? You know what I mean? I'm going to try to pull Columbo on my own brain.
Especially when you're going to get Neuralink, you're going to have to let him know what you're thinking.
Totally.
Right.
And most of it comes from movies and shit like that, I imagine. And it's just like weird shit that's in my brain. I don't really have control over it. And then I just say dumb shit.
Well, that's new, though. It's new. It's unrehearsed. It just flows out.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's beautiful. It's art. I think it's an art form, personally.
I want to talk about an art form. Ooh, we can't on the stream, actually. That's the beauty of going live. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. I have to think about what I'm going to say before I say it. Unlike the former president. Oh my God, I just remembered something today. It's just really funny, political. So I was thinking about this.
Bush?
Yeah, I'm like, Bush. It's like, Mr. President, how do you feel about Nazis and white supremacists with Nazi flags on American streets? And he just goes, I think there was fine people on both sides. But I'm like, dude, there was a fucking delay, bro.
Hey, buddy, Bird's going to shit on that lip there and hanging out there, buddy.
There was a delay.
Hey, I got a question for you.
You're talking about Bubba got shrimp. Better tuck that lip in and get caught on tripwire.
I got one for you. Didn't George Bush Jr. only serve 4 years?
No.
He did 8?
Yeah, man.
Did he do 8?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
so that's the first election.
He did 8, I couldn't remember.
John Kerry went up against him in the second.
Who went against him the first?
Who went against him the first?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Al Gore, man.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, that's right. Because it was Clinton for 8 years and then Bush for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So Clinton beat the other Bush. And only 4 for him?
No.
I thought one of them lost.
No, Clinton didn't beat the other Bush.
8.
It's been 8 since.
8.
Yeah, since he's still talking about.
Yeah, see, David. Yeah, those are both my coworkers. Yeah, David said he played it. Barely scored. Not an integral player. Nice. Yeah, I knew he played something and basically was a shit talker. So yeah, that makes sense. Was Mike Rice coaching basketball? No, I'm just kidding. Back then, that's just kidding. He's just a shitty dude, and then maybe Washington State. But no. What is it? What were we talking about?
Dude, I don't know.
I just lost my train of thought.
No, for some reason, my short-term memory is not super functional right now.
Like your 8-second short-term, or like with the last couple days?
We were talking about the president. I was talking about that dude. I was talking about the white supremacist thing because I was saying what's so funny about that is like if you asked me how I felt about something I don't like, I'd answer before you finished asking me.
You'd be like, fuck those people.
You'd be like, fuck that shit. Hey, Nick, how do you feel about No, see, I gotta stop myself before I say something. I'm getting it's so weird what's offensive now, and I want to talk about.
I'm not sure what is.
Well, I want to get back to that. Actually,
I want to find the line.
I want to talk about Joe Rogan shit really quick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sure.
But first, back to what I was saying about the president thing. Yeah, if you ask that dude, like, how do you feel about like Anfita or whatever they're called?
Right, don't say the word really.
Dude, he'd answer it right away and be like, "Fuck those guys." But yeah, the whole stall thing, like, how do you feel about Nazis? Well, man, fine. I mean, on both sides. Like, you got to think about that for a second.
I got hold on, bird.
No. But so
here's my question. I thought one of the Bushes. I know one of them's already dead, so it doesn't count. But I was trying to think of somebody who's a real POS. That's like, would you vote for him over if Trump tries to run again? Like, how low would you go to not have Trump win? Like, let's try to think of somebody who's so shitty that you don't want him to be president at all, but it's better than Trump.
I got two answers to that question. The first answer is, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Oh no! I just mean for the fun of it,
right?
You know, like imagine you were casting the last vote, and that was the winning vote. You were the guy, right? So
and
like,
it was me.
And you didn't know it was, but you're just the last guy, you know. But like your vote, you have to vote, and you don't want Trump to win. But there's some piece of shit. Like, let's just think it's like Putin became a U.S. citizen and he ran. Which one would you vote for? Putin or Trump? Like, you know,
if that was, that's what I mean. Like, if that was I get your hypothetical.
If Harry,
I don't think I would participate in the democratic process if that was for my
Alex Jones. If Alex Jones ran against Trump,
oh my
God,
vote for it. This is what I actually think. Here's what I think, just super like wrapped up. I think what we think of as American conservatives today, have massively underestimated the enthusiasm for their batshit crazy behavior. I think homies win, and also just the idea of everybody surrounding themselves with cheerleaders, which is right, the supreme leader atmosphere. Like, don't question the supreme leader, and if you do, you get fired. So you're like, dude, I want to tell him this, but he'll fire me if I tell him. So eventually you're surrounded with people telling you lies.
Fired.
The point is, this whole culture in the White House was just being fed lies. Like, Mr. President, the people love you. And in reality, people are like, get this fucking guy out of here. You know what I mean? The real conservative voter base, not the shit they portray in the media. The guys I fucking meet in my jobs, like the redneck I talked to for a fucking half hour the other day.
Right.
He's a Trump voter. I talked to another guy who I've known for years. He's a Trump voter. Very reasonable people.
Yeah. They're like, we can't do this.
We
this
can't
way,
do this. Fuck, these guys are psychos. Like, so like Matt Gaetz, all these people, like, I think they do. They live in this cheerleader crazy world where they really do believe people like them.
And I think they're also like in a
they
weird.
Don't.
Well, I think they're in a weird like.
Nobody really does, except for fucking psychopaths. Go to political rallies for like a weekend getaway. Like, that's crazy shit. That's psycho.
I think it's
psycho.
I think it's an oversimplified idea for people to think that people vote for anyone because they just simply like them. There's so many infinite reasons. Like, I'd say most people are voting for somebody because they hate the other person.
I think now that's actually.
Well, especially maybe I don't know. Maybe it's been like throughout history, probably up and down.
Bro,
let's say there's been like presidents that like passed out at a speech, like
you're totally right.
You know what I mean?
Hold your thought really quick. You're totally right, but it did change after we had a black president.
Oh, the black president thing was crazy because they tried to get Obama, who's like so smooth, for like having a brown suit on,
right?
Like some crazy. They went super deep. Like,
no, but the idea of voting against instead of voting for, which is where you kind of started this, right? Like, Nick, would you vote
that
against?
Didn't get souped up,
right? So that's kind of part of it.
The internet existed at that same time.
Boom.
So that those two things, like, you know, it's like simultaneous affect or whatever, if that's the right word. Like
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but you know, like I'm saying, like people always try to figure out in these situations too, like when you've got anti everything, right? People try to figure out like how to solve it almost always by like going, okay, like how did we get here? But it's like, because of the internet, I don't think it matters. Because whatever the data is that we're going to research in history, it's really not going to be relevant to the internet and what the internet can do. And so I just think we're so far behind in our thinking of what to do about a problem. There's just a new problem. It's something that was invented that does computing like what our brain does, but it does it so much faster and better than what we can do that we already are the slave of it. It's already begun, like some kind of Terminator thing. Like you can't stop it. We're part of it right here. If you're holding a phone looking at us right now, you're doing it. Like that's what we're doing. We're sharing it. And we're real people here. And there's real people looking at it on the phone. But the way that the whole thing's going down, it isn't what it really is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've made, like, this is weird production when it's kind of got cameras and angles and, you know, like it's not real. Like there's some always filter. And that's just something that humans, I don't think they can handle it. We're not doing a very good job of it.
We're not doing a good job of it is what I was hoping you were going to say.
You know, we could try, but we're not really trying. I feel like we get a handle
on everything we encounter, like human beings, just
eventually
on a biological level too. Not like saying like we're intelligent.
We
just
break
like
the horse.
A means of survival.
We break the horse.
Yeah,
somehow.
It's just a means of survival.
And we probably will eventually.
Yeah,
but we're not going to look the same.
We already don't look the same. You know, we were talking about this the other day. I was telling you how, like, so I left Facebook for like 5 years.
Right.
Came back and it was like a completely different world. It was like unrecognizable to me. And then I left again for like 2 years.
Right.
Came back and again unrecognizable from the world I had just come from.
Right.
So this time, you know, I deleted it again during the election, right? The previous election.
I remember, right?
So I came back now, bro. All the bots are gone.
Most of it. Yeah, they cleaned it up quite a bit.
And I don't mean I just got cleaned up. I mean, there's no reason. It's not a campaign.
No, but I mean, I think
you're right.
Both.
But I mean, both. Right, yeah. Both. I was saying it's not an election year and that. But like, I noticed like all the bots that were flooding all the local news networks. You remember I was basically trying to fight the narrative, right? And not trying to fight the bot, fight the narrative.
I also think the argument
is bullshit. You remember me doing all that?
Oh yeah.
So they're all gone. But as long as my point is, and I'm done here. Now I leave again. I come back. It's a different world again, and I'm like, dude, there's nobody even on here.
Well, Trump can't go on there, and so the Trump people don't go there.
There's that too. Yeah.
They all quit Facebook, or a lot of them did.
Right.
The really serious ones did.
Right. But they still need to be there pushing their message. That's the whole idea.
Ultimately, they just want to make money, right? So within their culture, there's subcultures of their culture. So there's enough of them now to just hustle themselves internally. You know what I mean? Like their whole, like they don't need us. These people need America. Hold on, this 65 million people, right? And they can sell fucking American flag pocket knives to each other for the end of time. Like they don't need us really to them. So
that's what Christianity does,
right?
That's what totally. It's like this world where they buy.
So there's going to be this new Made in the USA brand that's like, did you vote for Trump? Did you want this fucking?
They buy the Jesus paraphernalia and it's all
lantern, that military grade lantern. I saw this the other day. I saw something that was offered to military only people. It was like, do you want to join this company that blah 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 blah? This is for the military people only. Call and find out if you qualify, if you've been in a branch of the military. It's like a group. It's like a club, you know? And so, like, this is the kind of thing, this is like the kind of beginning of like a weird nationalism that, like, you know, you can see it all over the place. That's like creating like what really became the SS.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like ex-military, ex-cops, ex-cops. You know, people have had enough.
And then the same thing happens.
People had enough, and we've had enough of this. I've had enough of this.
I was going to say,
what I mean?
but that's what I was just going to say, is that's what ends up happening to their new culture. Right, and that's like Star Wars. Yeah. That's Star Wars, man. Right, and that's the SS.
Well, that's
like, right though. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
combated it through the years with cheeseburgers.
No, I'm saying, like, using your like analogy of like this internal system where they're buying and selling shit to each other, American flag knives, and that one.
Yeah.
And then in my not hypothetical, in my analogy, it's Bibles and this little circle.
Sure.
Eventually they get to that conclusion there too, where like this is just monotonous and bullshit. I don't believe it anymore.
They have 3 kids per family, and then one of them becomes like, you know, like reasonable and leaves, and then there's other two. One's a pocket knife maker, and the other one's a pocket knife buyer. I mean, it self-serves, like infinitely self-serves.
What I
itself.
meant is
like it's got its own economy. You know what I mean? Like
they eventually question their own system, and then that system breaks down.
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I was trying to say.
Though, but see, the problem is that it always has throughout history. Yes. But the internet provides a certain kind of lubrication between all the interactions and all the kind of, like, people just order it. Like, they're not driving anywhere to get, I mean, so a lot of this whole functionality of it, it's easier than it used to be. It's quicker. So we don't really know if it's going to wear down.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're not sure. Maybe it will take hundreds of years because it's so lubricated.
Right.
It's so simple.
See, the reason I don't think that, and that's where I was trying to go with that, is just the human biology and how we deal with.
So you're saying they can only get so embedded into the couch before they have to move, like as a metaphor for? I mean,
I'm saying the human biology of how. See, damn it! I knew I'd fucking lose that thought. I had a good one there, just about how we deal and how our brains handle monotony.
I don't know though.
So what I'm saying is like just. Because we have to just keep it simple for the sake of conversation.
Sure.
Let's just say there's this one dude. He's really invested in Q.
Right.
And it's been 10 years.
Right.
It's kind of like eating the same slice of pizza. You still like it, and you still go to the same place, and you're like, you know what? Eventually, bro, just every human being on Earth is going to be like, you know what? This slice of pizza just doesn't taste the same fucking way.
Right.
So that's that simple. For the sake of the conversation, think about that on a huge scale, like a cult or a political movement or party or something like that. When that starts to crumble that same way, when the movement loses momentum.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
When it starts to become monotonous, and before you know it, you're like, you know what? I'm sick of hearing you yelling about ex-president and waving that flag.
No.
Like, I'm over this shit.
I'm saying the same people.
Everybody gets over it eventually.
Okay, so who came? Who's new? Q. They're new. So who's old? Like Pat Robertson?
You mean who's old? Like
the old GOP. Like just as a figurehead, like just as an example, like Pat Robertson's the old version.
Well, yeah.
And they shifted 700 Club.
Right,
700 Club, and now it's Q, right? But it's the same people. So they're just shifting. It's their kids.
Yeah, it's the.
You see what I'm getting at? That's why I'm saying, like, you're right. If it was ever one thing, but it really isn't. It's gonna keep sliding into some other bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing about monotony and the way time
now
works.
Now it became Bill Gates.
And that's the way
it used to be.
And that's the way the brain handles time. Is it actually is simple and it is new. It started just with Rush Limbaugh,
right? But
there's only
like next generation is what I'm saying.
It is
not the same people. It's an actual group of people who are younger than us, and will be dead, and they'll have kids, and it.
But my point is, Rush Limbaugh, the enthusiasm for him plateaued and waned.
Right. But that was for that era. I completely agree.
Exactly my point.
But I'm saying now it's Tucker Carlson.
Exactly my point.
Now it's Tucker Carlson, and it's a different group.
And he'll keep going.
And after that, it'll be some other guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So the general idea never leaves. Just the individual people involved in it at the moment.
Well, no, I mean the enthusiasm for it, though, because Tucker Carlson's message is completely different than Rush's, right? I mean, it is.
I mean, it is, but not necessarily oversimplification.
I mean, the product.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The product is oversimplifying an answer to a really complex problem to get people to join into your idea.
And that's the other thing.
That's basically what those people do. That's what the Republican ideal is. And it's just oversimplification of I can't believe we can't do that.
Am I out of touch, or are there actually young people engaging with Tucker Carlson's program?
15-year-olds are.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, man, it's dark. Not just him. People like Ben Shapiro, or people like... Yeah, man, it's like, and that's what I'm saying. We have to assume that's always going to be there forever and ever and ever and ever forever. Like, and I would assume, like, I don't know who the next, like
okay, I see what you're saying. So my point, okay, I get what you're saying now. My point wasn't that it wouldn't still be there. I guess what I was trying to say, to clarify it more, would be to say that the way people are enthusiastic about it, and that's what I was trying to say about monotony, is they're quick to jump ship and go somewhere else.
They totally will.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, reason why Scientologists don't is because they've got dirt on you.
That's why they burn each other.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why we're like the conservative culture is everybody's selling each other out and backstabbing each other and throwing each other under the bus. And it's a gang,
like a gang. You know,
it's
they beat you in, they beat you out.
They beat you in, they beat you out, and that's I always say it's just like fucking Star Wars.
It is,
and that's the whole.
Well, that's what they made Star Wars after.
Exactly. Like that's the dark. That's the dysfunctional dark side of the Force.
That's what makes it a fucking movie. Is that it's a duality, and you have to be a child to think that life's about like a duality, good and evil. Like you'd have, in order for you to not know that there's a lot more shit going on out there. You know what I mean? And so, like any of those stories, they're all based on. There's just, you know what I mean? Like that's just how we see stories in our culture. That's why when you see people go, I can't believe that movie ended. It just ended right at this one. Like, it didn't make sense. It ended. It's like, well, that's because probably somebody from a different culture, they see time and space and everything different than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're just not. I mean, the Chinese culture, Japanese culture, they just don't. Yeah, they don't know what you're talking about.
I was going to say that you mentioned
we have a linear way of doing everything.
I started searching my brain. I was just kind of remembering, like I just had this image after we mentioned it of just Fox News in my mind. And I just remembered walking into this gas station that's out in the country where I work. And the guy who owns this place, I've told you about him, he's Indian. Mm-hmm. Like, hello, how are you today? Yeah. Really nice guy. Until he accused me of shoplifting.
Sure.
It was awkward.
Right.
Anyway, I've been going to this gas station for years. I was in there recently. And I was like looking down at something to drink. And I listened. I'm like, the fuck? And I turned around and Indian bro man is watching Fox and Friends.
Sure.
At a gas station out in the country.
Right.
I guess I am kind of out of touch.
But he's in the country. So like to me that means that's, you know what I mean? Like country's country. Like I said, when you pull out of your driveway, you go, well, I must be important. Look, there's nobody around. You know, but it's just because there's no one around. It's just no traffic. And when there's traffic, you go, fuck, I got to deal with all these people. And those people get a different mindset. And so, that's like, one part of life, but all the parts of life.
I'm just thinking like...
and as soon as you have to deal with other people, you become a different person. That's just how life works.
The psychology of somebody who's seeking out speculation and opinion. What is that? That's like you want to be angry,
but how do you know?
Looking for some injustice that you want to be angry about or something?
What if the guy's also like? What if he has turned it on Fox News because he's had it on CNN for the last hour and he's like looking for a counterpoint or something? You know, I also don't think necessarily that any one given moment would give it away. You know, or maybe two.
Don't haven't you done that?
That's what I'm saying. I've done it many times. I wouldn't speak about Tucker Carlson unless I've seen him before.
So my point is, if you've done it, then you know there is no compelling counter argument.
No.
It's all speculation and opinion.
It's literally how I can listen. Though I'm listening for like which story you decided to cover and which in which order. How did you headline them? How are you presenting them? What up against what? How's the context of what you're creating in the conversation before you show that story? I mean, there's just a lot of layers there, and I don't have a problem. I think people see all that a lot of times and maybe don't break it down like that, but that's what's happening.
And that's
so I like that. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
And what you just pointed out, too, is the other reason, like how that goes both ways. Like, that's also why some networks aren't showing you something, because they're like, fuck, it doesn't fit the context of our story. And they're actually honest about it. They're like, we want to show this image, but we can't.
Well, thousands of people die every day. So how many news shows do you want to have? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And like during the protests, everyone was scanning channels.
Yeah, because they have the same fucking camera angle over and over again. But the same thing, they have hundreds of things all over, and they could have showed a lot more. And then, so of course you're going to change it. I was going to say something else.
Well, I was going to say, I was flipping through them. What I noticed was just what you mentioned. So Fox would show a lot more of violent footage.
Oh yeah.
So anytime there's tear gas or anything violent and crazy, they're showing it. If you go to like NBC, they're barely showing any footage of the riots.
Right.
And just like you said, like I could look at that and say Fox is showing me what's happening and NBC is not.
Right.
Where in reality, just like you said, NBC's looking at it like, well, we can't show an image of this after we do a story of that.
Right. It's got now a lot of depth.
Totally. Like it's gonna be taken like we're fear mongering or it's out of context. Like, no, they're actually trying their best. While the other network's like, no, we're gonna scare the shit out of you.
And that's just it. I don't give a fuck what some crazy person want to burn a car. Do whatever you want, man. I don't care. Like, I'm literally watching it because I'm interested in the production of it. I'm interested in how people build their opinions and shows. I'm interested in human psychology. I don't give a flying fuck what they pick. But when you pick something stupid, I'm going to be like, that was stupid. When I read an article and it's written like shit, it looks like something I wrote in college when I was like, and that's what I read. And I'm like, I don't care what they're talking about. This is shitty writing. Like, I don't know why that's so challenging for a lot of people to do that, because like, I know they know. And that leads me like when you're watching Fox News, so it's like this or CNN or whatever, but they're like, this is the fucking end of the world. Like Wolf Blitzer's probably the biggest dumb fuck that's ever lived. Like he's literally said the same dumb fucking breaking fucking news over and over. You just want to go fuck off. Because if everything's breaking news, there's no more of a cry wolf motherfucker I've ever seen in my life than that fool. Like he cried wolf so many years ago. I was like 15 watching that guy fake like this is the end of the world. David Koresh.
Right.
Oh my God. It's a goddamn cult in the middle of Waco, Texas.
See,
like I've seen him so many times.
So like data is everything, right? Actual data is everything. So watching responsibly, consuming something responsibly, right, would be to watch something is bullshit and not to watch it because you want to know what they're saying. You're watching it because you want to know why they want you to think that's the truth. Or you want to know why they're telling you that in the first place.
Well, what it boils down to is the guy that got hired to do the job.
Am I right now?
Yeah. I'm saying the people who do these jobs a lot of times, they're just pussies. They're not Walter Cronkite. They're just not. They're pussies.
Right.
Bottom line, they're fucking little babies from a school system that they've never done anything in their life, and then they fucking go there and they talk shit, and everybody hates them.
So that's why,
and that's stupid, and that's just stupid, and that's as simple as that.
So responsible reporting is like you have to please everybody. You want to be true to your craft, but you have to please the boss, and then you also have to make your shit entertaining to idiots who'd rather watch someone burning alive, than watch.
Imagine who you're entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I always say that story. I always told you that hypothetical I always bring up, which is like a news story that says there's a structure fire on 9th and Pine. Remember that? I always say that.
Right.
I said it to somebody close to me. Like, you got a news story. Structure fire on 9th and Pine. And then there was 2 men seen leaving with hooded sweatshirts after the fire. And the person I told that to said they were probably with Antifa or Anfita or whatever. Right. So what was funny about that is the person I told that to, I'm like, see, you just took the bait. The only data there is there actually is a structure fire on 9th and Pine.
That's it.
That's all you need to know. And you can look out your window and see the flames. And that's a real news story. There's the fire.
And that's all
what the fuck?
Otherwise,
that's data, man.
Otherwise, just at least separate that from my color story, which is that I think that those 2 guys might have started it.
Right,
It's a color.
That's speculation.
But that's the color. That's what it is.
Totally.
And when you're talking
that's
sports,
part,
you got the play-by-play guy and you got the color guy.
Yep.
One guy's just telling you who shot the ball, and the other guy's telling you how he thinks the guy should have shot the ball.
These are the same sneakers you wore last year at the same game, but it was raining 4 years ago here.
I really don't know what's wrong with Phil today. It looks like his left arm's got a little bit of a weird bump on it. I don't know. He might have gotten a fight last night.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just saying, like, not separating the fact that that's Fox News is 100% color.
Yeah, it's speculation. The whole thing's opinion.
But a TV show about news is a color show.
Right.
It's not. I mean, come on.
Right.
And so, like, the fact that regular adults don't know the difference kind of leads me to believe that I hope they suffer and burn in hell. Like, I don't know why you get to be a fucking adult. You have a job, Bert. I know how to fucking got a driver's license, Bert. I put my dick in there, Bert. You know what I mean? I hold my baby. I must be an adult. But you're too fucking stupid to know that that's a color show. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Right.
And they're living their life. Like, they fucking fuck up a brand new truck with a Q sticker on the fucking paint job. Some dumb fuck trying to get me to believe that I'm supposed to balance my opinion with this person. Like, how? Come on, man. Adults have to have the ability to tell other adults that they're dumber than fuck. or else you don't have a real culture. There has to be some accountability. You can't say, hey, let's coach a team with kids, and I'm a social worker, and the person across from you is like, oh, they drink baby blood. That's no compromise.
That's not a compromise, and I heard somebody say this. Some politician, I think, said this recently. Like I think he said, if you told me that the sky was yellow and I said it's blue, it's not 50-50.
No,
it's you're batshit crazy and the sky's blue. There's no 50-50 here. There's no conversation. Yeah, this is like you're psycho.
I mean, like the whole entire one side of our whole whatever. If we're 50-50. My side has been tolerating people for a long time. Nicely. Where you're like, dude, this is getting fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, man, how far are we supposed to let that go?
It's supposed to be entertainment. Like, it's weird. I've watched the news and read. I remember I used to read newspapers back in the day.
Sure, Oregonian.
Yeah. So my favorite class when I was a kid, too, was current events. I like data. I mean, that's just like what humans want. We just want information.
Me too. I like that stuff. I think it's interesting.
But that's why even at a young age, nobody needed to tell me that. I could watch Fox News at a young age and be like,
C-SPAN, motherfucker. And I watched C-SPAN in high school. If you can't watch C-SPAN, you're not a fucking adult.
There's that.
You need to know what the Senate and the fucking House and what's going on in the world. You're not a goddamn adult if you can't do that.
Sure,
you need people to lead you around in life. You know, me and you. We both agree on the fact that people know very little about civics.
Yeah, well, that's down a conversation kind of about my fishermen should fish thing. Like, I mean, not everybody needs to invest, a lot of their time and thought into that kind of shit. A little bit will be helpful in your life. It'd be nice
if you learn about how to drive if you're going to drive around. You live here. Like, I think it's maybe more important to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. So what I was going to say, though, is even at a young age, I could watch that shit and know what was valuable and what was not, what I needed and what had no value to me, even if I liked or didn't like somebody that they were talking about. Like, so-and-so possibly did this. Like, oh, I hate that guy, but I don't really care.
No, I never care about this.
Yeah.
Don't take me the wrong way. It's talking about whether you can or cannot digest the information and whether or not you can or cannot consider yourself an adult if you don't understand.
See, I mean,
that's people need led around. Somebody's either telling you how to build your house or you live in it. You know what I mean? I
agree with everything you're saying. I just don't know how I feel about that word, but it's just a word, so it's subjective.
What, the word adult?
Yeah.
But I'm saying people, that's what I mean. It's not about...
I still play guitar.
No, I don't think that qualifies as anything. Like, I'm wearing a fucking Blazer jersey, for Christ's sake. I'm not talking about the cliche shit. I'm talking about... Look, man, people understand some pretty complex shit. When I know somebody that can understand a really complex idea, right? For instance, understanding how to take a traco and make grade out on make a fucking foundation for a house. That's something that somebody had to learn how to do. It takes a high level of skill and understanding of how to do that correctly so the house doesn't fall down. And that same person cannot read a website and see how ridiculous it is because they really aren't trying. They have no respect for the reading of something, and that's what's happening. They have respect for this because they make $600 an hour. The other thing doesn't matter. And so it's just a value issue. It's not an intelligence issue. I don't believe people are that stupid. They're fucking lazy. And their inability to focus on what somebody that they pretend to care about evidently asks them to pay attention to it. We all have family members. You ask them, hey, I got something. You should check this out. And the amount of people who really won't take fucking even 2 minutes to even look at someone else's idea, it's fucking mind-blowing. You know what I mean? And that lack of attention means you're probably in some other cult because you can't hear the person sitting next to you. You know what I mean? I never noticed it until again, one of the things I teach these skills for these kids, and I start to realize how many people don't have basic interaction skills, and so they can't really learn about stuff. You know what I think it is, and we've talked about this a little bit before, and it's just hitting me now, in this way, that the lack of craftsmanship all around, I think, is somehow responsible. Oh, that too. It hurts.
It's just
everything's garbage.
So everything's garbage. So what I mean by that is, for example, in my own personal experience, having an intimate relationship, sexual intimate relationship with guitars.
Yeah.
I've and because I fuck them.
Right.
ruthlessly fuck them.
Sure.
And
they wear out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh yeah. You got to toss them out, get a new one.
Sure.
Every hour or whatever.
Sure.
But my point is this: with craft, when you get into a craft, you're invested into a craft. When all of society is invested into a craft, they begin to appreciate one another's crafts.
Yeah, man.
So like, if you're really good at your craft, you're really invested in it, and then you're that Q dude, and you turn on news, you can appreciate and be like, wow, this Fox News, these guys really suck at that craft.
Right. That's it. They're not even good at it.
They're not even good at it. Nope. And then you start to notice it everywhere you go. And then you can take it. Then because you have an appreciation for it now, you can start taking what's valuable from it.
Yeah.
So you can turn on Fox News if you want and be like, oh my God, that guy's so full of shit. Why does he want me to know that? Ooh, he's hiding something.
Something's going on, man.
You got something from it, and it wasn't what they were saying.
Why is Tom Selleck trying to buy Grandma's house? You know what I mean? Like,
you mean in those infomercials?
Yeah. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.
I knew what you were saying.
Trust me.
That fucking mustache.
Trust me.
Goddamn sexy bastard.
Magnum PI, motherfucker.
Magnum PI, dude. What was his fucking TC? Was that his fucking pilot's name? The fucking motherfucker with the orange ass helicopter and shit.
Yeah, I don't know his name. Maybe somebody in the chat does.
Sick, bro. But yeah, craftsmanship. It's lost, and we know because we're musicians. And man, there's some fucking thoughtless music out there these days. I'm sorry. You can call it whatever you want. Like, I try so goddamn hard to get into it. And I also say to myself, well, man, maybe I'm old. But then I think back and I'm like, no, when I was a kid, my grandparents were into the new rock I was listening to.
Well, it depends on which. So every era, let's just get it out of the way.
It's not that. It's the music, man.
Let's just get it out of the way. Every era has some, even if it's a tiny amount, they have some good music probably that comes from every era. Okay. So what we're really talking about is the percentage of shitty and good music in each era, right? Like we could say like the 1970s has like a ridiculous amount of high-end music.
Like 10% shitty.
And it's the high end of the 70s is like
totally.
What the fuck?
You could go into
much
any
better.
nightclub anywhere and watch class acts.
And even just like
garage bands blow you the
they
fuck
work
away.
hard. They all had they all had like music class with real instruments when they were in school, and like there was music programs. People played in big bands. Bands were like on the fields of the football games, and like they were dressed in uniforms, and like some places still have that, and they do produce massive amounts of musicians. And that's why I say there's still good musicians, but that's, you know, I was looking at a 1950s picture of Y East, which is the middle school now at the Odell. I think it was like 50 something, right? And it was like a football game, and the fucking grandstands were like amazing, beautiful white, and all these fucking lights and people, and like, and it was the 50. It was way cooler than now. Like, there's nothing even close to that cool.
So if you were just saying,
like a bunch of fucking dildos, and these rich people got to hear me. If you were telling them, they're the ones that fucking shove their fist in that ass. Right, so every time they go to those games and go, "This is fun," it's your fucking fault, dumbass.
Hey, we were just saying like 10% bad music in the 70s. And you went kind of a different direction, but I think where you were going to go with that was, I say it's
the 90s was pretty shitty.
Well, hold on.
I mean, you know, like,
hold on, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think now it's the exact opposite.
It's really shitty.
So I'm saying it's 90% shitty.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're both about the same age. 90s was pretty shitty. I mean, really, you know, compared to the 60s or 70s, it's not that great percentage-wise. There's a fuck ton of shitty music in the 90s. But even if you're going 90-10 in the 70s, I'll go 50-50 maybe in the 90s. But I'm going 10% good, 90%
Yeah, I was going to say
now.
the 90s were kind of weird for me too, because I was just kind of into just the Dead and Fish.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's not a very good, like, the Dead doesn't really belong in that era, even though they were barely in it, but they didn't belong there, so you wouldn't necessarily say that band was there. Right. And I would definitely say Fish is a 90s band. Yeah. And, you know, but even though they're playing now, but they're still they come from the 90s.
To think, like,
and there's a lot of great 90s bands.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I like Pearl Jam,
but there's nothing at all. There's nobody that really. I mean, when you listen to bands like Yes or like the Doobie Brothers or Steely Dan or whatever, like the harmonies and the fucking musicianship, it's something else. And like they don't. There's none of these people are doing that shit. They're not even trying, man. They're not even attempting to do it well. So it's the songwriting itself that isn't even trying to get into the, you know what I mean? Like the Doobie Brothers, I think it just once we got to the Doobs, I think everything just kind of went downhill from there. at some point, it had to peak and then just start going down.
Sort of. I mean, like you said, there are still some good bands that pop up once in a while.
Oh, there's great bands.
But like obviously, like what I just said in the beginning of that is craftsmanship just all around. Yeah. Just and you know what, bro? This is something we could do a whole stream about. Is it's obviously, clearly, completely related to technology.
Right.
The era of the Renaissance man has turned into, I want to say, it's turned into an imposter.
Yeah,
you're an imposter.
You're an imposter.
Like a real Renaissance man went out and like actually forged steel. Right. He actually went out and operated on a human body. You know what I mean? Like I actually got my hands in the blood.
They won't let you know.
The Renaissance man today is like, oh, I needed it.
Yeah, no, but
Fuck
you can't.
They won't
let you starve. You can't even not take a lunch at work.
Who? What do you mean? What?
No, I'm saying, like if you want to punish yourself, you want to be like tough, you got to take a lunch at work. Like you can't even like, you know what I mean? Like you want to talk about pushing yourself at work or any kind of anything that would like be tougher. You know what I mean? Like there's no, I mean, you're not even like most people don't want anything though. I'm saying you're right. Like
the commitment of not,
there's no commitment
being able to do this.
Yeah, but dude,
at any fucking time you want.
That. I'm saying there's no relationship. People don't need to make a relationship with suffering, and they can still live what's called an adult life, and they have no relationship with doing things that they don't want to do. They don't necessarily have to do that anymore.
Yeah, but
a lot of people don't. They don't. Their job's not very hard, so they don't find it to be that big of a deal. And then they like try to find the kind of weak way out of whatever it is they need to do in life, and they always kind of figure out a way.
So, but it's also like it's also I don't know, it's a trickle down cultural thing too. It just starts to drift away, which is
but you got to purposely park your car way far away so you can walk to the store.
I was going to say
you have to look for it.
Just like when I was a kid, for example, like my parents and people who were influencing me that were older than me would, teach you how to fucking change a tire on your car.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like shit.
That's not a fun thing to do as a parent, but you got to do it anyway.
Yeah, but that's the kind of hands-on shit like we did without technology, is what I mean. Like, and you became invested in it where the whole world was blocked out. There was nothing else. Like when I would get home from school,
there was nothing to distract you.
Nothing. I would get home from school to play my guitar. I'd play for 4 hours. I'd lock myself in my fucking room. I don't even have a phone in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's almost no way.
The 90s. I didn't have a fucking phone in my room.
Oh, I'm shocked the person.
Nobody's getting into my world. You know what I mean? Like that's why I got good at my craft. Is what I mean. Like,
well, and the people won't allow you either. Too. Like I said, like almost all the great musicians or people who are great, like you just said, like even 4 hours right at one time. Like parents will continually like interrupt their kids to find out if they're like having a balanced life, and like they just don't even know what they're talking about. They're like getting in the way of every single person being great at anything by just constantly like don't fucking get involved. Like it's not your job, but you had the kid and just make the food and shut the fuck up. Like I don't get why people get in the way. Like of course you're supposed to guide your kid to some degree, but it's weird watching people try to live 2 lives, theirs and then their kids.
It's the culture shift of all this fucking information, dude.
It's just but the idea though is like it really isn't psycho. It isn't even the internet though. It's like the internet, and they also play the part. The parent a lot of times acts just like the internet. Like they're trying to sell their kid on some other fun. Hey, you want a Capri Sun? Hey, are you thirsty? Did you need a snack? Did you guys get a snack? I don't know, do you need a snack? Did you need a snack? Are you guys bored? Do you even like this show? You want me to put on a different movie, hon? Do you want to watch your own movie? Did you want to not watch the same movie as your brother? Let's go in the other room. You can watch your own movie. Okay, so you want a different dinner? Okay, I'll go to Taco Bell for you. And then what do you want, McDonald's? No ketchup, no pickles, no cheese?
Hey, you dumbass kid. Take some acid. Hey, you dumbass kid, go get shit-housed. Put down the fucking phone. Pick up a fucking guitar. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Just one though, don't be greedy. Put your phone down.
Thinking about the chick on Total Recall has got 3 boobs. Oh,
I remember that.
Dude, we got sidetracked again. I wanted to talk about Joe Rogan, but now I don't want to. Because I was just thinking, how long is it going to be till I can't say the word chick anymore, and that's offensive?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to definitely... There's going to be a point where I'm too old to do these things because my entire vocabulary is like dudes and chicks and bros. And like if it gets to there, if it goes to that level, I'm fucked.
So check this out. So like...
Because I call chicks dudes and
right.
bros and...
So here's the thing is like this like one size fits all kind of approach to just language in general. Like everybody has the same intention and every word has a very specific meaning. I can't live in that kind of world.
Well, it's never been. It's not true. And like I think we all have to play along. Like I don't think it's like it's not the responsibility of the dumbest fucker on the planet that came up with that idea. It's actually the responsibility of the rest of us to tell him that he's wrong. And so the fact that the real problem is just groupthink, is that every single person's got a 401k that's attached to their neighbor's fucking opinion or some kind of, like if you told your neighbor that you hated that they were fucking wearing some, you know, the color of their skirt was the ugliest fucking color you've ever seen in your life, that somehow that you're gonna die. Like it's got that kind of attachment to it. You know, like if somebody got caught calling someone fat or somebody said something like they didn't like, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that song, Wet Ass Pussy. I was really thinking that's what I wanted to give my kid for her birthday. That album. Because it's empowering for women. Like if that's something that you thought or said in life, you're just a fucking idiot. Like it doesn't really matter. Even if you did like the song, it's still not okay. Like, I don't play Rain of Blood for... Like, I mean, I like Slayer, but I'm not... I love Tool. Am I playing Prison Sex? Shit, blood, and cum on my hands.
Fuck yeah.
You know, like that's... Wait, honey, come here. Like, come here, 6-year-old. You need some... You know, you need to understand what it is that Maynard James Keening's saying about prison sex and how the molestation gets passed down through generations. Like, no, you know, we teach children that they're going to burn in fucking hell. Like, how could we possibly get worse? You know what I mean? Like, 85 or something % of our country teaches their children that if they don't do what the like some silent voice in their head that nobody hears and everyone just lies to each other about, that fucking straight up they're going to fucking hell to burn forever, along with all the other relatives they have that say that God's fake as shit. So they got all these kids walking around, and when I say shit like, oh yeah, man, like, get fucked, that's completely ridiculous, God's got his head up his own ass, those kids, when they hear me say that in the world randomly at Rosar's while I'm trying to get soda or something, you know, they hear that, they actually think I'm going to hell. And so now we got those people, which were already there, psycho as fuck, like borderline schizos, talking to themselves. And then you got QAnon people that are around you too. It's almost like if you just go to a random store, you're basically surrounded by people who really want you to die. Like as soon as possible. Like the Rapture people, the Armageddon people, they're like, please die, please die, please die. And they're identifying you by like your clothing and the way you talk and act as the people who are the burning in hell people. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're the one that's going to burn for eating pork, having long hair, fucking your girlfriend before you're married, or whatever kind of litany of nonsense. And so the fact that we just roll through life when we already made a constitution that said, hey, get fucked, right? I mean, it's pretty clear, First Amendment. Shut the fuck up about your stupid fucking religions. But nobody does a fucking thing about it because they're all in the same cult. Like, how could you stop somebody from doing something if you're actually related to the same guy that's doing the same thing? I mean, so nobody's, you know. So you have like a pure delusional group of human beings, almost purely delusional. Very few of them can understand that all of the religion's a metaphor and that all of it's just like a lesson or something, right? But no, most of them, I think, take it super literally. You know what I mean? And so that's just fucking absolutely the only thing I ever lay in bed and look at the ceiling and say, what the fuck? That's literally the only thing that I understand greed. But the other shit, talking to yourself for like 30, 40 fucking straight years and telling other people, your own fucking children, that you are talking to something is so dark.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Pretty
darker
creepy.
than that.
So something I would say about that is like, because I work in the country and I'm from the city.
Sure.
Right. And something I've noticed from that is just that, how these cultures came to be. It's pretty obvious, cut and dry, which is if you live around more people, you're going to be challenged.
Right.
You're going to be challenged on the things you believe. You're going to be challenged. Like if you invent something, your neighbor's going to invent one just like it, but better.
Yeah.
So like when you're out in the country, like I work,
right.
I realize like, whoa, like this dude, his whole family like has lived in this bubble their entire like 4 generations. The only world they know is on that TV and what the neighbor fucking tells them when they go down to the bar. Like that's what I mean. Like over time, that dude really does believe he's talking to someone.
Yeah.
Because he's never been challenged.
They don't know what that means.
And that's why he's looking at you like, no, you must be the devil. Because he's convinced himself, like, whoever disagrees with me must be the devil.
It's like as if
Which is me.
It's like as if people collectively, together, decided to call talking to something, which isn't talking to anything, but they decided to just call it that for the sake of the understanding that they wanted it to be. But it's not, even if there was an entity, you still wouldn't be talking to it. It'd be some other word for it. You know what I mean?
Psychotic.
So they just don't know what the fuck they're talking. I mean, the thing is it's just stupid. Like in so many ways that the first way you look at it, you go, well, I just can't engage with something this stupid. But then you realize it's like a major part of the political system and like the angles to get your tax money.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of engage.
Yeah.
They're fucking robbing
That's what I was trying to say is they stay there. They're there for so long that they believe themselves. They've convinced themselves, right? It's psychosomatic, right? They believe it because they're too far gone. They've been there.
Know why? There's not even an incentive in it. I mean,
dude, I had a guy the other day. I want to tell you this guy. He's like, I was having a conversation with this farmer for a long time, for about 45 minutes, trying to get this guy to let me on his property.
Right.
And he never did. And at one point in time in the conversation, he's like, where are you from, Nick? And I said, I'm from Portland originally. Fuck, right when I said it.
Whoops.
Yeah, because it's funny is if I had said that to somebody in 1993, they'd always said this to me when I traveled for Grateful Dead shows. And I'd say, I'm from Oregon. They say, oh, the redneck state.
Right.
People used to call me a redneck. Like I'm talking like people in my family, people who didn't know me just because I'm from Oregon, I have an automatic association that I'm a redneck.
Right.
Fast fucking forward 25 years and I have an automatic association as a fucking liberal.
Right.
All because of just where I'm fucking born.
TV.
Fuck you.
Because of TV.
Fuck? Yeah, because of TV.
And here's the irony. The people who changed everybody's minds aren't even good writers. They're not even good at it.
I know.
These are not your best writers. These fucking people.
You have to be compelling. You have to be compelling to fucking give somebody what they're already looking for. That's like religion.
It's not even compelling. It's literally misuse.
That's what I'm saying, though.
English language.
It doesn't have to be.
It's just ridiculous.
If it fits the narrative you want and makes you feel good, it doesn't have to be compelling. That Fox News proves that every fucking day.
The temptation to write a shitty book is so overwhelming.
But anyway,
just to write a stupid.
The other thing I want to tell you about that dude is he also said to me, he said this to me, quote, he said, yeah, I got people coming down here from Portland stealing shit off my property.
Yeah, right.
And I said, I was at this point, I knew I wasn't getting on the property, and I said this fucking word for word, verbatim. I cut him off like right at the tail end of his sentence. And I'm like, hey, dude, nobody's going on a road trip to steal your garbage.
Right. They're from Gresham.
He looked at me like all bug-eyed, and I was looking around like nobody wants your shit, bro.
Yeah,
I said, dude, I've been doing this job for 23 years, and I hate saying this, and I always got to tell this to you guys out here. Those are your neighbors.
Right. That's who stole your shit.
That's who stole your shit. Is your white neighbor, your white meth head neighbor, not the fucking Mexican liberal from Portland, fucking 60 miles away that you saw on Fox News, you fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when he said that, bro, I couldn't fucking believe, like, that, like, he would just say something.
His own kid sold his own generator for meth, and he doesn't even know it. These people are so fucking dumb. They're like, you know what I mean? It's like his kid's friend.
Nobody's going down the road trip to steal your trash, dude. You fucking loser.
Remember
fuck you.
Yeah, bingo, John. What's up, dude? What's up, Stu?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Ain't seen Stu for a while. Yeah, this shit's funny, man.
He knows what I'm talking about. He's done my job before. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Like the association the guy gave me right away just because of where I'm from originally. Here's the irony. I'm a 4th generation Oregonian, 3 generations back, Baker County. Woo! I got more redneck heritage than that guy. Where the fuck is he from? I bet he moved up here from San Francisco. You see how that works, motherfucker? We can do this all day.
Yeah, he stole his farm. He probably
get fucked, buddy.
He probably stole his farm from a Japanese person when they fucking shoved them all out of the state or something. Oh, yeah. I've been working so hard that my family shoved the Japanese right off this orchard. It took us years to get them.
It's funny, it was an orchard. Ooh, hey. Remember where I was telling you too how you can always find the owner because they just have a look?
Yeah.
I saw this guy.
It's called arrogant.
I saw him on a gator. And I could just see by the speed he was driving it that he was coming for me and that he was the owner of the property.
Like, he didn't mind to ruin it by driving it in the potholes. I own this. I don't care about my colon. Fuck you.
From Portland. I'm so fucking pissed.
You're like, no, man, I'm from Gresham, bitch. Don't ever forget it.
Motherfuckers watching fucking Fox News. You know what I mean? And that's what he's thinking. He's like, yeah, those guys get in a car, gas it up, drive 60 miles to the south, and come to my house.
Yeah.
What? Nobody cares about you and your stupid little world. Ever. You're going to die and nobody's ever going to know you were here.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
They're bad ass. No, they are
we
bad
done?
ass. Hopefully they don't.
$1.30.
You want to do? You want to be done? Let's be. I think we ought to be done tonight. What do you guys think in chat? Yeah. All right. Let's talk about what we got on the schedule this week.
All right.
We are selling massive gear down at the Underground. We're going to be pricing like massive shit. I don't know if anybody's listening to this, but Jesus Christ, if you need something, you should come down here.
Amps, speakers, mostly.
Fuck up, man, with the best deal you've ever heard of. Mm-hmm. And because we got too much shit in here, and we're trying to get this thing back rolling again, and we ended up with like a lot of extra shit over the quarantine. And so, fuck, man, we got a lot of shit. I don't even want to start to tell you what we got. I really just want to see vaccinated humans. Bring your card down, and you're in, no mask. Let's see what's up. Bring some fucking cash. Let's do this shit.
Cash.
We'll be here Sunday. If you want to come down. Anybody want to come down Sunday? Bring some cash. Come down. Bring some fucking cash. We'll talk some shit. We'll play some rock music.
Say this.
Kick each other in the nuts. Get you a keyboard.
If someone's listening to this who does any like recording, any kind of, even if you're doing visual or audio kind of recording, we also have like a lot of cables.
Shitloads of cables. Every kind of cable.
Power cables.
Come down. We'll sell them to you for so cheap. You
need some weird, obscure power supply? We might have it.
We probably have like a $50. We have a $40 cable that we'll sell you for $10.
Wait, what?
We got $50. No, they're used. Don't get me wrong. $5, $10, like cheap. So come down, fuckers. All right, see you Sunday. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want to see you anyways. Anybody that's gonna watch the stream, I would love to see you anyways because, we don't really have any fans. We just got friends, except the other 14,000 people. We're signing off. Nice to see everybody. Woo.
I just figured last time.